Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage Podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
What is up, everyone? As you can see, we're doing a different intro tonight. I was going to be something different, but Johnny fucking ruined the surprise, I guess, with everyone on the team. He goes, well, why don't we just don't do an intro? Well, that was my plan. And he goes with that. And you know what, Johnny, it's your idea. Fuck my idea.
Yeah, exactly. So why are you even here?
Not what? Fuck you.
All right, guys. Now the show starts.
Now
What
it's
is
the
going on,
TNA. Yep, it's the TNA segment.
I will bring him back.
I respawned. He's respawned. He's back.
That's right.
Hey, John, did you have a good day today? No one fucking cares about his day. We'll just take him away.
I don't know, but it just got better.
That looks pretty good.
Anyways, I'll say this though real quick. Today is Tuesday, April 15th.
Happy day.
And it is episode 146. We're close to episode 150. Now, we all know we're not politically correct. Pre-recording the slot machine, but I do like to say this with every show. I also like to say thank you to all the men and women in the military. Thank you for your service. And also thank you to all the police officers, the firefighters out there, and everyone in public service. Thank you. Thank you for your service.
I would like to
now,
thank the cop.
What are you going to say, John? Are you going to fucking interrupt me some more?
Yeah. I'm going to say I would like to thank the cop who wrote me a ticket for rear-ending a car day before spring break. That was cool of you. That was awesome.
Well, hey,
100% my fault, but yeah.
Just pay attention.
It's really hard to enter in your emails.
Well, learn how to drive.
He was trying to kick that lot lizard out.
I was. Yeah. Get out of here.
Why don't you learn how to drive, Johnny? Don't blame the cop.
I would never.
Anyways, a couple housekeeping notes here to start off. I don't like that term housekeeping, so I'm gonna find a different term for that.
All right, Consuela.
All right, Consuela.
All right, Consuela from Family Guy. No,
housekeeping.
No, Diabito. No more cookie. No more cookie, Diabito.
No more whitetail. No.
Let's see here. We do not have a show coming up on this upcoming Sunday because it's Easter. So if people only listen to this on the audio version, our next after tomorrow, which is going to be Wednesday the 16th, our next episode won't be released on the audio version until the following Wednesday. Make sure to head to our website. We revamped it. I think there were some problems with it before, but it should be working now. Also, go make sure to check out and get some of our merch. It's on our separate website, but everything's right there in the comments. And also, I do want to point out, Brian, great buddy of ours here at Whitetail Advantage, he just released his first episode. Make sure to go check out his episode. It's under Twilight Hunters Podcast. It's a great episode, learning about health and ageism in hunting. So with that being said, we were supposed to be covering a state in Canada, but I think they're too good for us.
They also have provinces, not states.
Well, you know what I mean. I know that. Anyways,
I know you know that.
I know that. I know that you know that. I know that.
See, I knew that you know that. That I knew that you knew that.
Well, I knew that you knew that I knew that you knew that I knew that.
Who's on first?
I don't know, but I know this is fucking getting boring.
Right? All right, on to the main topic here. Brett.
Yeah.
Hunt, fight, and eat. You have to hunt one, fight one, eat one.
Ooh, change it up. Okay.
Yeah, change it up a bit.
Hey, no, never mind.
I'm
leaving it alone. I'm leaving it alone.
So, and I'm just making this up on the spot right now. possum, raccoon, beaver.
Is it the kind of beaver that I'm thinking, or is it that real life wild critter?
Oh, they're both the same, aren't they?
I hope not, because if they look like that when you pull the pants down, you better put them back up and run.
And put the light off.
What were they again?
Some stupid ones.
Yeah, stupid ones. A possum
Possum?
for our friend, a raccoon, and a beaver.
I'm gonna eat the raccoon. No,
You got to do the possum for Mike so he shuts the fuck up.
That's why
Right.
I fucking said it.
I'll eat the possum just to shut him the fuck up. I'll kill the beaver, and the last one is
Hunt.
hunt the what?
The raccoon.
Yeah, the raccoon. There you go, Michael. I'll try an opossum for you. You know what? How about this? If when we go down to Indiana and I see a opossum, I'm going to shoot the motherfucker. I'll film me cooking it over the fire, and I'll flavor it up with some flavors of the forest shit. And I'm going to.
We'll all eat some.
We'll all eat some, and then we'll show you. Look, Michael, we've all tried it. It
Well,
tastes like ass.
We all come up with fucking sepsis, and we end up in the fucking hospital. And
You're to blame, Mike.
yeah,
Hope
Watch,
you're
how you
happy.
doing? Brett's older brother.
What?
you don't know how to cook, Brett. He says you can't cook possum. You don't know how to cook.
I'm gonna have these guys here, so I don't need to cook.
We'll teach him. Don't worry. We'll teach him.
I know how to cook. I'm not stupid.
So why don't we do that during turkey season too? Like if we see a possum, we'll just smoke it. Well,
All
we'll
right.
shoot it and then we'll smoke it. That might be pretty decent.
It could be. I'm down to try that.
I bet
Dan
you
says
are,
possum
Billy.
is delicious.
Who said that?
Dan.
Dan's probably fucking tried possum.
He probably had possum
can see
parmesan.
Yeah,
Well-
possum parmesan.
Possum lasagna.
Yeah.
Dan's gonna stick at possum with one of those new Rex broadheads I sent him.
Nice. You just sent him one?
Yeah.
He sent him one.
One.
Boy, are
The-
you
the-
fucking generous. Holy
Yeah,
shit.
the practice tip too.
Probably used one.
It's a rubber one.
It's a fucking used one. It's the box without a broadhead. Sure.
Mine came with deer hair.
No,
That's right.
Whoa, these are pre-used. Boy.
Dan
This
said
is what a used
definitely.
Rex broadhead looks like, buddy.
Wow, this really doesn't
Michael
work.
says, wait, I have a question.
Oh God.
Why am I
man.
not surprised?
Bum, bum,
Boys have a
bum.
penis and girls have a vagina. There's your answer.
Yeah, that's your answer.
Are you
We do
assuming,
actually have a topic for tonight.
Are you assuming somebody's gender? Oh my God.
Since
Oh God.
There's no guess on
there's
this.
no
Can
guess
we
on
call
tonight's
Miss
big
Bowman?
call.
He said,
Wait, like Brett's wife?
"Hey, look, Squatch is
Brett
blushing."
No. The Mrs. Bowman.
The one and only.
I'll text her.
Squatch will like it.
Dude, she is a 60-year-old plus goddess. I mean, if you guys haven't seen her, I'm in
Check out
love.
Squatch's website. He's got pictures of her posted everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's new ones. There's new ones every day. But you know,
Yeah, I was gonna
Right.
say, I was looking on your Grinder page. There was all kinds of pictures.
I know I gotta update it. It's only like a half hour behind. So I
It
got.
looks like it was taken to a pair of binoculars.
What I did was
Oh,
I
no.
strategically placed a couple of Moultrie cameras that send me cell pictures every so
In
often.
Brett's dad's house that he don't know about that looked
Yeah.
like, stuffed deer.
I'm serious. I'm really serious though, guys. I don't know what happened with him, but she's really beautiful woman.
I don't
Him?
know what
I don't know
with
what
him.
happened. He might be milkman material, or
Yeah.
I don't know, but
His family all has blonde hair, blue eyes.
FedEx
Yeah.
driver,
she's got like blondish hair. He's a ginger. I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
It came from, where did I get my ginger side from?
A leprechaun.
My great grandpa on my mom's side.
Do you post it on your OnlyFans?
Sure do.
OnlyFans account.
The only problem with my OnlyFans account is I'm the only fan.
You pay yourself $9.95 a month.
I'm making a killing on myself. Really.
That's right.
So I was thinking for tonight, we just sit back and we just tell some stories. Our first kill.
What kind of
And
stories?
our first. Hey, oh my God, we have a surprise guest now.
What?
Holy shit!
MC Bovin.
No.
Who is it?
Oh, the silent partner.
Oh,
He was he was the producer, but he's been busy doing some side shit. And I told him that, hey, why don't you jump on? We're talking about some stories. And it looks like he is here.
Boom, boom,
Bring him
boom.
on, man.
Well, hello, good sir, producer. Are you there?
Oh, I'm here.
Holy shit.
Hey.
the missing link.
What,
Always the missing link.
Is he under a blanket? All I hear is his voice.
I will say this. So, because of his line of work, he needs to not have his. He's just here. That was the deal that him and I made. He has to do that because of his line of work.
Very nice.
So,
and I will add, he's doing a fine job working for me, giving me pictures of Miss Bowman.
So we call him the producer or the deucer.
The deucer. All right.
The
Yeah.
deucer.
And he's quiet all the time. He doesn't like to talk. No one likes him.
Pay no attention to the
Hey,
man
he
behind the
fishes,
curtain.
right? You fish, deucer?
I fish, hunt, anything. Fuck, I don't care.
Wow.
That's right.
Well, he definitely fits on this show.
Well, there you
That's
go.
right.
Oh, he fits on this show, that's for sure.
Congratulations.
Yeah, fishes and fucks. You're
Yeah.
in.
That's it.
Well, until my mom answers us back. Yeah, I was just thinking, let's just share some hunting stories. Our first kill, our most memorable one. I'll go first.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
go
no.
for it. That was only like 2 years ago with your first kill. So shouldn't be that
No,
far.
it was last year.
Last year. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
It
So,
was
I mean, you're right and wrong with 2 years. I mean, yes.
I hit him with told it out my Prius. The wife was pissed.
Oh man, that way when she saw that I killed it with her Prius, she was batshit crazy pissed at me.
Oh man, I can imagine.
Jesus.
I can't disclose what he does, Michael, but I'll just say this: it requires him to be, what's that word?
Secret squirrel.
Anonymous. He needs to be anonymous. No. So my first kill, I was 12 years old, and I was practicing over and over again with my bow. And my dad taught me was finger releases, and that was big at the time. Obviously, for him growing up, and finger releases weren't a thing till when I got older. I'll say Daniel commented, there sure is a lot of cops on this podcast.
Hey Dan, we will not give our address, okay? Because we've done a lot of illegal shit.
Well,
listen, I'll give my address out, but just bring a shovel at least.
Yeah, we just feed them to the pigs.
Dave, it's lie, deny, and counter accuse. I didn't do it. You did it. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yep.
But I was practicing, trying to be the best I could be. I was 12 years old. I'll leave it somewhat short. And went out in the woods with my dad. He said that I want to be there for you when you get your first deer. So he had me set up in my stand, and then about 30 to 40 yards away from me was his stand. And one day I shot at my first deer. It was a doe. I missed and went right underneath her stomach. I cried like a little baby back bitch. And all I remember is my dad getting down from his tree stand. It was like an hour left of sunlight. Picked up my arrow, climbed up my tree stand, and is looking at me. I kid you not, I'm legit crying. Tears are falling down my face. And he goes, Brett, why are you crying? So I practiced and I missed. I wanted that right there, and it was perfect. It was a perfect broadside shot at 20 yards. And he said, well, in this family, we only bow hunt, and that's hunting and that's bow hunting. So you got to get fucking used to it. And you have to accept it and move on. And ever since that point, basically, I think as all human beings, we need to embrace failure, but we can't accept failure. And that day, I had to embrace the suck of it all. And I went back out to practicing. A week later, I shot my first forker, a 4-pointer, and it was the best time of my life. I was able to shoot it exact same spot as that doe a week prior. He ran off, and I was so excited. I couldn't even get out of my stand. My dad's like, fucking wait there, you motherfucker. Just don't move. We have to watch where he's going. and then we got down and we went up back to the house to put our stuff away and let mom know that we got a deer. So, and my mom, she loves to follow us on the deer tracks. She just loves doing that. However, this one, my dad said, nope, it's our first time together as father and son. It's going to be ours only. So we went down there, find the deer, and I kid you not, we cut its balls off and we hung them in a tree. And we took some blood. He said I was a new alpha in there. You got to show your dominance. And we took some blood and wiped it on my face and got home, cleaned it out. And I will tell you this, I almost threw up because that was my first time smelling like the intestines and all that shit and all that stuff inside. I was like, bleh. And yeah, I was 12 years old.
That's why your eyes fucked up.
Yeah, it smelled so bad it squinched my eye.
Oh god,
Man.
That was from a scope. His dad said, turn it sideways and put it right up to your eye.
Dad had a lifetime of disappointment in him already.
Yeah.
come on, we all know that was a cock injury, and he's a little cockeyed from it, so leave him alone.
Mother should have swallowed.
Well, that was my first time, and
Did any of you guys have a Kleenex? Because that was a real tearjerker for me.
Gotta roll right here.
Thanks, Johnny. Hey,
You're
Johnny, hand that over here again, Johnny.
There
Hand
you
it out to
go.
the screen. Oh, thanks, John.
There you go. All
Thanks,
right.
buddy. That's perfect.
I was
Thanks.
gonna say I could go get some of my wife's tampons for you if that'll work.
Oh yeah.
It better be about that big around for Brett.
So that was your whole story?
that was my first. That was my first deer kill.
That's it?
All right, Sprock,
What?
tell us your first kill.
Oh Jesus! What do you want? Bow or rifle?
Your very
Just-
first kill.
Very
My very
first
first
deer.
kill. That was my very first kill,
All right. Well, Brett's
or
not
my
gonna
very
wanna
first
hear
harvest.
It was with a gun. It wasn't with a fucking bow and arrow. But
Yeah, Michael
oh,
did it too with his first deer. He
all right,
hung the deer in the balls in the tree.
So I was. Holy fuck! How old was I?
3.
No, it wasn't that old. It was like I was probably 8
I
or
wasn't
9.
that old.
No, I was like 8 or 9 or something. I think it was like maybe 8 or 9, somewhere in that area. Well, anyway, I grew up in rural upstate here, and we were fortunate to have 125 acres of our own. It was, real good hunting land, and my father wasn't much of a tree stand guy until oh shit, I don't know. I was probably 14 or 15 before we really. Well, he had one deer stand that he built, but with me, we built a couple down in the swamp. But anyway, we didn't hunt the stand that day. He was sitting on a 5-gallon bucket, and he, it was rifle season, and I'm busting his ass about taking me out, and he said, "Listen to me. You know where the bucket is in the swamp?" I said, "Yeah, Pop, I know." He says, "When you get off the bus, put on some real warm clothes and come down real slow and, meet up with me here and we'll sit here together." And I said, "Okay, Pop, I'll come down right after the bus, lets me off. I'll get dressed. I'll come down. Don't forget your orange." I said, I know. I'll bring my orange vest." So I start walking down real slow, like he taught me, a couple steps and stopping, looking around, couple more. Well, I start to break into the swamp, and I look up the hill, and I see all these deer going up the ridge, up the hill. And I says, "Oh, he's gonna kill me. I just spooked all the deer out of that were coming down to him, right?" So I'm like, all right. So I stood still for a couple minutes, and then I walked real slow some more. And I get up to him, and he says, come on, sit. So I messed up. And he says, what'd you mess up? I said, all the deer just went up the hill. How many? I said, probably 15 or so. Okay. He says, it's all right. I said, well, now I feel bad. I screwed the hunt up, Pop. He says, no, you'll be all right. We'll be all right. We'll just sit here. So he had just got a Marlin 9mm camp carbine rifle, which the reason why he bought it, for one, it was a semi-automatic. It was 9mm, and it took the same magazines that his Beretta Model 92F used. So he liked it. It was just something he had to have. And he said to me, he says, now listen to me, son. He said, when it starts to get dark, they're going to come through this hole in the rock wall. I'm going to give you the gun. I says, okay. He said, keep pulling the trigger until I tell you to stop. And I said, okay, Pop, I will. He says, you put it right where I taught you, right on the vitals, right in a good kill zone. Okay, all right. So we're waiting, and it's starting to get a little bit near dark. And he just tapped me real light, and he says, to the right. And I look, and there's a good-sized doe coming in. And he says, here, get the rifle. I said, okay. And he says, get it up to your shoulder now. I said, yep. He says, do you see the deer in the scope? And when I was younger, I didn't really like scopes. I've shot better with iron sights. I had a problem with trying to line my eye up into the scope and get the whole picture the right way. And his was short enough where I could look through it and I could see the deer. And I saw the deer standing there. And I said, Dad, I see it. Can I shoot? He says, are you on her? And I said, yeah. He said, remember what I told you. Just keep shooting until I tell you to stop. I said, okay. He goes, go ahead. So pow, 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 pow. And he's going, stop. And he freaking takes the gun and rips it out of my hands. He says, what the hell are you doing? I said, you didn't say stop. He's like, yeah, I told you stop after the second shot. You got her. Well, the doe tumbles over. I got her about 4 shots out of the 6 I probably let fly. And the doe went down literally yards in front of us. So, you're a young kid, and all this shit hits you. And it was just a whirlwind of emotions. I mean, we were like happy. I was broke up. I didn't know what to experience. And he says, all right. Listen, we got to get this deer out of here. He says, so I'm going to teach you how to gut it out. It's getting dark. You got to hold the light. Okay. So, same thing. You hold the leg. He's showing you what to do. And that was my first deer sitting on my old man's lap. That was the first deer I ever killed. And it was the next year after they had decided that I knew enough that I could go out on my own with them being around, but in a different area, not exactly right next to them. And then I had got my first doe by myself with the rifle. But I was able to get a bow after that. I shot a 4-pointer was my first buck with the bow. And then a bunch of deer after that. But yeah, it's one of those things you'll never forget. I'll go down. My cousin owns the property now because my grandparents have both died, passed on, and he bought the property. And it's hard. I can't even go past that tree. So
yeah,
but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, mine wasn't as eventful as yours.
Right now, we can't even compare to.
Mine was more fucked up than anything.
Well,
my uncle moved back from Texas to move in with us.
Yeah.
And
Dave, you share your story, and then we'll have John go after you.
Okay.
And then the Deucer is going to share a story too.
All right. I don't even remember how old I was. Jesus Christ. It's 10, 11, 12, something like that.
Well, he was around when you started hunting, so.
Well, this isn't the same uncle. This is the other one, not the one that got me into hunting. This is his brother.
Is that when dinosaurs roamed the earth?
It's pretty fucking close.
Right after that comment.
So he was the master of drinking Goebel beer. If you've ever heard of Goebel, the brand.
Oh yeah. So
he handed me one day and said, "Yep, you're gonna go hunt. We're gonna go hunting tomorrow." And I'm like, "Okay." I don't even think he fucking knew he gave me this shotgun, this Mossberg pump 16 gauge. And he just handed it to me the night before and said, "Here's some buckshot. Go shoot that tree in the yard." So I went and shot it. And he's like, "Yep, you're good to go." Mm-hmm. So we live basically nothing but woods around us. And we go out the next night and we got my Flatlander cousin, or my uncle, my Aunt Beth's husband. Never been hunting before, never shot a gun, never did nothing. Decided he wanted to go hunting one time. So they drop him off. He's like 300 yards further in the woods to me. My uncle sets me and he's like, "Here's my prime spot, shoot the biggest deer that comes out, whatever it is." And I'm like, "All right." And I probably at that age, shouldn't be left alone, but I didn't give a fuck. I had a fucking shotgun. Mm-hmm. He says, "Walk straight ahead about 100 yards. You'll see a valley of red." And I go, "What the fuck's that mean?" And he says, "You'll just see it." And he fucking leaves. And I go out there and I see basically a dump truck pile of fucking apples with a box blind. Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting there and I don't know what to fucking do. I'm just sitting there. And just before dusk, here comes about 10 does.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, I'm just going to shoot the biggest one, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I shoot, and I'm in a piece of shit metal folding chair, and it rocks me back. And I look down again, and everything's gone. I'm like, holy fuck, I missed it. Mm-hmm. How the fuck did I miss it? It's like 15, 20 yards with some 3-inch. Mm-hmm. So I just sit there, and I'm like, what the hell? Then all of a sudden, probably like 5 minutes later, I'm watching, and fucking apples are like flipping in the air. And it's starting to freak me the fuck out. Like, why are these fucking apples jumping in the air? So I racked another shell, and I walk on the other side of that pile, and there's this big ass fucking doe just dumped over.
Yeah.
So I sit there, and he says, "Oh, I'll come back and get you." And I'm like, all right. And my Uncle Mike heard, so he comes running. He's all freaking out and like, "Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah." So my Uncle Tim comes back, picks us up, says, "Hey, I'll take you home. I'll take care of the deer." And I'm like, okay. So he drops off to my Uncle Dan's, or my Uncle Jay's. And it's like fucking 11 o'clock and like, he ain't coming back. I'm like, where in the fuck is he at? So I call up my mom because he only lives like half a mile away. And she's like, "Oh yeah, Uncle Tim's over here. He's frying up venison." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, he's frying up venison." So I beeline for the fucking woods. And he had the fucking backstraps fucking ate up. He had that fucker all cut up and quartered up, and it was all laying on the table in the sink. Wasn't even going to share it. It was my fucking deer. I was like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah. And then pretty much after that, when I got older, me and Dan, pretty much, we grew up together since we were like kids when he moved from North Carolina. So we pretty much hunted together at his aunt's farm, which he owns now because she passed. And we put the murder on him out there.
Allegedly.
Well, they got the block permits for crop damage.
Oh, nice.
So she would put
Texas?
No, down up north of West Baldwin.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because Dan's from up there too. And she would put a bale of circle hay out in the middle of her field out in front of the house.
Yeah.
And we would just sit there and wait for them to all come. And then we got the SKSs out and just fucking started unloading on them. Mm-hmm. And they couldn't run because it was all ice. It froze.
Yeah.
And then we'd load the back of his truck up with like 10, 15 deer at a time. And we'd take them into Baldwin and we would sell them for like $40 a pop.
Nice.
Oh, man.
We made a killing that year.
I bet.
Literally.
Now, is that like back then? I'm assuming it was obviously more popular nowadays it's kind of less popular in my opinion, where they have like those the meat processing place and they have those giant hang your deer type thing.
Like
It
a
was really
buckle?
popular
Buckle?
up in the
Yeah.
yeah, your buck pole type deal.
Yeah, me and Dan did that a lot. We still do it out at his house. And then he has one behind the farmhouse too.
Nice.
But we still do the buck pole. We got one at the cottage up north too.
Yeah.
We just
But
hang
yeah.
ours in a tree now, but I always thought that was cool to see that, especially like the black and white photos. I always thought that was really cool to see. And then I think there's a place in Schoolcraft or Portage, someplace in that area that still does that type of thing where everyone brings their deer and they hang them up on the buck poles and you just see like 20 deer on them.
We'll have to do that in Indiana this year.
Yeah.
Up here, it was popular, like in the Adirondack deer camps. The guys would run a buck pole, hang their bucks up on it and stuff like that.
See, me and Dan, when we used to go up to Bruce's Crossings.
Hey, I have
that's
that
cool.
picture.
Hey, I know where Bruce's Crossing's at. That's right next to my uncle's cabin.
Yeah, so me and Dan and a couple buddy of ours went up there for a weekend. We leased some property up there. And we went up and unloaded on them. And they had a buck pole right in front of basically it's a hotel / gas station. And we rented this big suite out. And they had a big buck pole. And our friend Stan, actually, it was funny. We went to the casino and we came back, and the one that you could see is all ate the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
That was our friend Stan. The coyotes were on it, on his. Yeah. Yep. The coyote was eating the ass and his whole fucking deer when we came back from the casino. Yeah. It was funnier than shit. Left everybody else's alone, just ate Stan's. His was like the size of a fucking dog too, though. So it's probably why it went for that one.
Matter of fact, it may have been a chocolate lab.
It could have. And then that day we went back because a couple of the other guys are too much pussies to go hunting. So
I don't like that type
cold.
of language. I don't like that type of language.
Yeah, anyway.
That guy.
So me and Dan stuck this deer with a beer can and a cigarette mouth in our friend's bed.
Yeah.
And the cleaning lady came in and she lost her shit. She freaked the fuck out.
Brett said he went to a place called Bruce's Crossing, but this is what he was looking for.
That was Bruce crossing the street. No, we had fun up there. If we weren't banned from that hotel, we probably would have went back.
Dude, how do they know that you're banned now? Let's go back and try it.
Let's just do it again.
Yeah.
That was 20 years ago, if not longer.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, fuck, Brett wasn't even born then.
Yeah.
I was born 93.
Yeah. Me and Dan used to go up to that property where we were going to bear hunt and my ex-in-laws owned.
92,
and this is how this fucker's luck is. I got this prime spot out behind the property there, and there's just a few. It's all cedar swamp, butted up to like 10,000 acres of meat paper, and there's some high ground. So I had this spot. I shot a couple nice deer out of it. I found a better spot. So I told Dan, hey, just sit here. I always see deer here. I always see at least 1 or 2 bucks.
Yep.
I make it to my spot in my pop-up, probably sitting 5 minutes, and I heard fucking boom. And I'm like, you got to be fucking shitting me. And this is back in the 2-way radio walkie-talkie days.
Nextel days.
Yep. And I said, was that you? And he says, yep, I just smoked an 8-point. And I go, fucking kidding me, you motherfucker. And then he was all pissed off. And I'm like, why were you? And so we left and went back, got his deer. Because I had a giant fucking black bear trying to stalk my ass. So we went back and got the Mac 90s with the drum clip, waiting for that fucker.
Oh.
But he said as he dropped that fucking 8-point, he said his granddad was right behind him. And he said he was fucking huge. And he didn't even see that buck until it dropped. And then he looked and he's like, oh my God.
Now, before we get to Johnny, my mom said she's got a free minute.
Uh-oh. Squatch, he just turned red.
Yeah, look at this. You can see the cheeks blushing underneath that beard.
I gotta check out something real quick. Grindingwithasquatch.com.
That's right.
Can you guys hear that?
No.
No. Oh, I hear something.
Hello?
Barely.
Hang
I
on.
heard her say I'm here.
Can you hear us?
Yes,
There she is.
Hi, Mom.
here I am. Hello,
Hi,
how are you?
Hi, Miss Bovin.
Hello.
I'm
Hello,
the nice.
Hello.
Hey, you
I'm the-
two settle. You two settle down. Hello,
I'm
Mr. Bowen.
I'm the Christian of all of them.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
so I'm the Christian that took a wrong U-turn, but
Yeah, you did.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm the Squatch, and you're like I don't even know. I'm at a loss for words.
He's
I don't even-
all
I'm all
fluttergashed.
jumbled up. I'm jumbled up. What an honor to meet Miss Bowen.
well, it's an honor to meet you. Brett has
Thank-
talked about you all so much,
Thank you.
That's scary.
and
Yeah, whatever you said, it's a lie.
he speaks highly of all of you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Brett, you are a good liar. You were right. I'm liking you more and more every day.
Well, Mom, I just wanted you to call in because we didn't get to the last time, so we just wanted to
Hey, Squatch,
Hear
you
your
can stop
voice.
smiling now.
Right?
and make the old man blush.
He's gonna go to bed with butterflies in the air and cuddle up to a teddy bear.
yeah.
Aw.
That's it.
No,
That's it.
you got
Well,
a good
that-
kid.
that makes us-
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think he's a good kid as well.
he
It's
is.
pretty much like our little brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is he?
Well, for some of us, grandkids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, these guys were walking around when cars were invented.
Yeah.
my
Oh
God.
boy.
What year did you graduate, Brett?
2012.
Oh my
I
God.
had already. Well, no, I was just getting ready to retire out of the army at that point.
Mm,
Wow.
yeah.
I was
I was a baby.
I graduated high school when you were born, Brett.
I graduated in '88.
You
Yeah,
guys are
dude.
old.
Oh, are you still
I
alive?
graduated in '85.
Well, that's
Oh.
not. Yeah. See, that's not. Well, I'll be 56 in June. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're still young.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. Sprock
Brett
tells me
makes
all the time.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Hey, like the song says, older women make beautiful lovers. And I'm a firm believer in that.
Aw,
Yeah.
you're a wonderful man.
Well, thank you.
Brett, looks like you got a new daddy.
Hey, Brett, that's what I didn't call your dad yet.
Don't
Make a
forget
60-year-old
Father's
lady
Day.
feel good.
Yeah. Don't forget Father's Day's coming up, Brett.
That's right.
Yeah, let's call my dad now and see
Yeah,
what he
yeah.
has to say in this conversation.
You son of a
Right.
Brett,
bitch.
you might want to make sure you get that back child support done.
Hey,
Yeah,
Brett.
Yeah.
Hey, Brett, you remember how you made us disappear before? When your dad comes on, just hit that button for me, all right?
Dude,
Oh,
we
make
gotta
it
we gotta get your dad on now, dude. We gotta get your dad on.
Is
You guys are wonderful people.
Thanks.
Well, thank you, Mom. I don't want to tie you up. I know it's late.
All right, you guys have a wonderful night.
You
Nice
as well.
meeting
God
you.
bless you all.
Nice meeting you too.
Love you,
Bye-bye.
Mom.
Nice meeting you. Love you, Brett.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Brett, tell your mom you love her. Come on.
I did.
Oh, okay. Just make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't make your new daddy come over there and spank you.
That's right.
Don't make me take the belt off, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, my mom chased me one time with a belt. I pissed her off, and it was the one time she legit chased me with a belt, and I fucking ran away.
That's funny.
Man.
And then you ran into a wall, and that's why your eyes all fucked up.
Yeah.
He
I
ran
told
into
you
the
guys, you
doorknob.
fit right in.
Man.
Fucking doorknobs.
That's awesome.
Well, Johnny, now it's your turn.
Yeah, Johnny,
Um,
tell us your jacking story.
Yeah. Second
Oh,
tour of Nam. I don't like talking about it.
I was just gonna say it.
Wait a minute. Is
like,
this when
I
you get
was-
shot in the neck? Is this when you get
No, God, way before that.
Oh, okay.
2006, Iraq. No, honest to God, I killed a guy way before I killed my first deer. My first deer, I was well into my 30s when I killed him. It was so my first deer. Once I got out of the Army is when I really started hunting. Before that, it was kind of like I'd use it as an excuse to get out of school.
Yeah.
So
Good excuse.
yeah, oh yeah, and it worked. Then once my dad would wake up, he'd wake me up and I don't want to go. And then of course he was happy because he didn't have to babysit me. So
Yeah.
it was a win-win, right?
Right.
But no, I was doing a hunt in where was I? Nebraska. Yeah, no, Missouri. I was in Missouri because I did a Missouri and Kansas hunt. And then we were duck hunting in Nebraska as well. But I was in Missouri rifle hunting because at the same time, rifle season in Missouri is bow season in Kansas, and we were hunting both. So I'm in Missouri, and we were on a 3-day hunt, and it was for Wounded Warriors in Action Foundation.
Nice.
Dude, the first full day, I would see deer. I'm like, oh, that's a nice spot. That's a nice spot. And they're like, no, just wait. I'm like, okay. So I'm like taking advice from these guys, right? They're like, I'm like, that's a beautiful basket rat. They're like, no, just hold on. So I did, and I waited until the very last fucking day. And it's like the sun setting, and for hours we didn't see anything. And I'm like heartbroken, dude. I'm in Missouri hunting whitetail. I'm seeing all these beautiful deer, and your guys are telling me not to shoot. And now it's the last day, and we haven't seen jack. Like we didn't see anything. And I was using a Ruger M77 and 300 Win Mag. That was the rifle they gave me, right? This one lone doe, like her spots must have just came off.
Mm-hmm.
Like she comes up right at dawn, like right as the sun's setting, and the dude that's with me is like, he's like, shoot her, that's a shooter. I was like, all right. And I put the crosshairs right behind the shoulder. Boom, dude, this deer cartwheels and tumbles down. I'm like, yes, I'm all excited. And the guy's like, all right, we'll give her a little bit of time and we'll walk up there. I'm like, all right, cool, Don't see any more deer. The sun sets and we go up there and we walk, right? We walk up and we're like, where the hell is she? She's gone. And we're like, well, let's look around, and we follow the blood trail. And right where I shot her, about 12 yards out, there's a giant like ridge that went down. She had tumbled down that and wrapped around a tree. Dude, I was like, I'll go grab her. And I went down there and I seen her, dude. It was like pick her up by the hind legs with one hand and lift her up. Dude, it was the smallest deer I've ever shot. It was embarrassing because all these people are, it's a veteran community hunt. All these dudes are smoking these giant bucks, and I come to camp with this like tiny little doe that you can hold in both hands.
I bet yours is the best tasting, though.
Oh my God, dude. So my most memorable experience out of that whole hunt, right? And they're scanning it out and everything for me, and I'm like, all right, cool, And they're like, all right, we're just gonna leave the carcass here. I was like, whoa, but what about the loins? And they're like, oh no, we don't take those. That's coyote meat. I was like, bullshit. Like I always remembered my dad taking those. And these dudes were like, nah, man, we don't eat those. So I cut them out, and I was like, oh, these are coming. Dude, those loins are like that big.
Mm-hmm.
They're so tiny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was my first deer. It was nothing special, super small. I was 30. I think I was 31, 32 possibly.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was 31. So I turned 30 in Kansas, and then I went hunting after that. So yeah.
Mm.
So everybody but Brett's popped their doe cherry.
Yeah. Yep.
So we got to get Brett's got to get himself his doe in Indiana.
Exactly.
I'm gonna get a doe tag too.
I haven't shot a doe in the 18, 20 years I've been hunting. I've shot at does, but I never found them.
Mm-hmm.
But I have yet to put my tag on a doe.
Wow.
I'm getting a doe tag though.
Oh,
I'm buying a doe tag and a buck tag.
Yep, I am too. I figure, man, nothing better at a camp than fresh venison.
Oh, absolutely.
We get a couple deer, man. We'll eat like kings.
And I'm hoping to be able to bring back some elk for you guys too.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I'll be doing that right before. So I'll be leaving the first week of September out to Oregon to hunt.
Mm.
And we're about a month later. So yeah, I'll have it all back here for sure.
Oh, I'd love to taste that.
I bet
Michael asks, Brett, what has been the biggest buck you have shot? It's been a deer called Fish Hook. He scored 144 and some change. He was my biggest deer. I shot him in 2020.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
I
gonna
shot him
say
in 2020.
2020 or 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that the
Yeah.
one in the intro video?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I remember that one distinctly, and Deucer, we'll get to your story here in a second. I remember it. I won't get into all the details about it, but I remember what's special about him, besides all the other facts. A couple of the facts that were special about him was when I put my trail cameras out there, I was late to the game. I didn't put the cameras out till the end of August, and I went to check them a week before opening day, and the very first 2 photos were of like the wind and like some trees just from the natural movement of all. And the very first picture of an actual deer was him. I was like, fuck. And he's standing right in front of my tree stand. And I show my dad. I'm like, Dad, look at this motherfucker. This thing's giant. And I hunted him hard and for the first like month, and I didn't shoot him till November 3rd. And I can tell that story at a different time. But yeah, that's my very first harvest is going to be one memorable one, that's for sure, because it was with my dad. And my fish hook kill, that one is going to be a very special in my heart because it was pseudo with my dad as well. The backstory with that is my dad was part of that as well. So, Deucer, do you have a story?
Well, it's gonna be hard to beat all you guys, but we'll try this one out, I guess.
I will precursor this much is Deucer's just getting back into hunting. He took a sabbatical from hunting, right, Deucer? You were gone for a while.
Yeah, about 10 years off.
Yeah.
So I was probably about 9 years old with my uncles and my grandfather. First time in Canada. Grandfather already tagged himself out. My one uncle already tagged himself out. And my other uncle, he had one more tag left. And, you know, me being young in another state out camping, I'm just having fun. I don't give a fuck.
Right.
So I go out hunt first time, and my uncle's like, well, first one we see, we're going to drop. Doesn't matter. Okay, sounds good. Lights going down, getting a little dark. Not too dark, but enough to see. Seen something come on in. Seen 2. It looked like 2 coming in, but they were really close to each other. But one perched up, so I figured there was a hill there. So after I shot it, told my uncle, hey, I got 2 to the left. So he was going to take the one to the right, and I was going to take the one to the left. So we shot at the same time. Come to find out, this is where the funniest part comes, is we stopped the buck from fucking the doe. So,
Fuck
and he was
blocker.
still in. Huh?
Cock blocker.
Yeah. So we
Man.
get back, shit you not, we go and get the deer. I drop him. He's still inside this doe. So we're laughing all the way back. We called, we used our Nextel phones. I remember those chirps. Told my grandfather to bring the 4-wheeler out. He comes out, and the first thing my grandfather says, well, I hope he got his nut off. So we cooked them up, and while we were eating them, my uncle's like, I think I taste a little creamy in this one. So again, and then second one was last year, Brett? I talked to you about it.
Yeah.
First time back out doe or bow hunting, sit up in a tree saying, now I've been out for 10 years. So I can't remember the times or nothing. I'm up on a public land and all that, sitting up in a tree stand, sitting there. It's getting daylight. It's 7 o'clock. For some reason, I think I can't shoot until 7:15. I had my bow draw sitting there waiting, had a big doe come on out, and I waited and waited. I had perfect broadside hit. It was so close. I could have just dropped it right there. I had perfect sights, everything. And I waited, still looking at my watch, like, hurry the fuck up, hurry up, 7:15. Well, my buddy sat there, waited for me to shoot it for at least 5 minutes, ended up taking a shot. I seen it drop. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? You're supposed to wait till 7:15. He's like, no, dumbass, you're supposed to shoot at 7. Motherfucker. Never saw another deer after that. I was pissed.
Oh.
I leave it up to Brett because he gave me a bad spot.
That sounds like some Brett shit right there. I'm just gonna say.
I blame Brett's eye because he looks at shit all fucked up. Especially the pictures he sends me.
Yeah, that fucking cockeyed get you every time.
Yeah.
Dad should have been fucking the other way. He could have made that eye better.
Yeah.
That's
So for
amazing.
anyone that
Yeah, he shoots a bow, with that eye the way it is, but I guess
that's the eye that I close.
Oh,
I don't care.
Okay, all right.
The eye you tried to open.
You don't even have to close it. It's already closing automatically.
No shit. So for retros, for anyone for reference, I have it's like foreskin of the eyelid. Basically, there's extra skin in my eyelid, and I'm trying to go to the doctors to where they can cut that stuff off.
Give you a lift, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah.
I just thought that you shot so much you got callus on your eye, and that's what happened.
No, he took shots so much
he's got to be able to put a gun in his hand first. Put down the bow and think he's a real man.
Yeah.
Well, there's a joke about that. So let me tell the joke real quick. So there was this kid, and he had a deformity when he was born. He was born without any eyelids. So the doctor said, "Well, we can heal this, but we'll have to take the skin from when he gets circumcised, and we'll use his foreskin to give him eyelids." And the poor little bastard turned out all right, but he just went through life being a little cockeyed, and I mean, it's right up Brett's alley. Ended up being a little cockeyed.
That story sounds like Brett. Brett, did that foreskin come from your daddy?
Maybe.
From that mushroom tip stabbing him in the eye when he was a baby in there.
Sorry about that, Brett.
That was a good one. Don't be sorry.
We should have asked his mom when she was on.
Yeah.
I do want to ask, out of all these stories now, Deucer might be able to elaborate a little bit on this question, but at least for us my biggest question now from this, because we've been hunting now for 20 plus years now, with sharing these stories, we've obviously gone through a lot of ups and downs through hunting, a lot of emotional aspects of hunting. And one question I want to ask now, what's been the biggest mistake or biggest adversity that you've gone through that you feel has made you a better hunter now because going through that? And I will say mine first to give you guys kind of like an idea where I'm trying to go with this. When I shot my first doe and I missed, like I said, embrace failure, but don't accept it. There's a lot of moments where I've had in my hunting career where I just wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. I was like, fuck this hunting shit. I just can't do it. I'm tired of it. I'm not seeing deer. I'm missing deer and this and that. I'm tired of this. Then I just rooted back into my upbringings, and my personal drive is I don't quit. I've never quit anything in my life. And because of going through those moments where it's just like seems nothing can go right, it's the moments where you got to just suck it the fuck up, practice more, read more, study more, and it'll eventually come along the way. And because I think of those hardships that, at least personally, that I've gone through, has made me a better hunter to accept those low moments, because I know that they're only going to last for a brief moment. Accept those brief moments, and move on from them, and they will help you in the long run. And I'm very grateful for those moments that I've gone through. And I think, in my opinion, all hunters should go through those type of moments in some aspect.
I agree. I think the good hunters are the ones that have went through it.
Mm-hmm.
They're the ones like me, you. Like, I'm very competitive. Yeah. I don't like losing at nothing. And if I miss or wound a deer, I just shoot that much more.
Mm-hmm. I think,
all right, I did something wrong. I got to fix the fucking problem.
Right. Maybe it might be different, at least for us three, because of our line of work compared to squash. But I'm sure his is very similar, where because it's the find a way to win type of mentality. Because of me working in law enforcement, you had to find a solution. You had to make a decision. You can't lose. And with you guys obviously being in the military, the same type of mentality. Squatch, do you have an opinion or a take on this question?
Well, the only thing I can give you an influencing story, what affected me, was I learned to listen to God and give him the credit. And because I'm nothing. You know, we put on this show and we do what we do. But you know,
Yeah, no, that's truth.
yeah.
That's truth.
Oh, absolutely.
And what was it?
You can be the I don't know. Let's say in our 20s and our 30s, we're just invincible. We know fucking everything, and nobody can tell us what we're going to do wrong. And I was lucky. A lot of the deer that I shot over the years was just in the right place at the right time. I thought I knew whatever I screwed up on probably the biggest fucking deer I ever seen in my life. A 10-yard shot with a 30-06 blew right through him and just didn't hit vitals. And, that was the first kick in the teeth, is like, hey, guess what? You're not Superman. And, fast forward a bunch of years and I hit this deer. I was working my regular job and killing myself doing landscape, and I was working every weekend. I was like, man, it's freaking deer season. I got to get out in the woods. I'm missing out on what I love to do. And I went to my favorite stand and I got up in there and just, I was really like getting closer with my walk with God. And I was praying and I was like, I'm working so hard. I'm like, can you just get me something here quick? Cause I don't have a lot of time this year. And I turn around and there's a halfway decent 8-pointer coming along, and I drew back. I shot. The deer was quartering away from me. I seen the fletchings go right in, deep into the deer, and the deer ran, and it stood by this orange maple that was down in the woods, and then there's like a ravine that goes down towards the swamp. The deer walked off slow, and I was like, he's going to go bed in the water and die. I gave it time. Long story short, I got down, didn't find any blood, called deer search. The guy came with his dog, looked, couldn't find anything. I asked the guy, I said, and I was still like a baby Christian, let's say, at it. And I said, hey, and I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm like, hey, you really worked hard. Do you mind if I pray for you? And he's like, oh, that'd be really cool. And I said a quick prayer for him. And, he went on his way. He said, hey, let me know if you find that deer, man. I'd be interested to know where you hit it. And I said, well, yeah, that makes two of us. And he said, really, it was no trouble. He was going up to the next county to go hunting with his friends. So he just stopped along the way when I had called to try to help me find it with his dog, and so on and so be it. So the next day I get a picture on my phone, and it's this huge 10-pointer. And I'm like, who the hell is this? And he goes, hey, man, I just want to thank you for praying over me. You blessed me, and I shot the biggest buck of my life like you prayed for. And I was like, wow. I was like, it ain't me, bro. God answered the prayers that we prayed over you. I didn't have nothing to do with that, but I'm happy for you. I'm still looking for my deer. He's like, well, good luck, blah, 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 blah. So I looked for a couple days for that deer, couldn't find it, went back listening for crows, didn't find it. Fast forward 2 weeks, rifle season starts, and everybody's like, oh, where are you going, dude? Where are you going to hunt? I'm like, I'm going to go back to my stand. And I call it the Rabbit Run stand because it's our road was Rabbit Run where I grew up, and the old carriage road goes down in through the woods. So I'm like, I'm going to my Rabbit Run stand. Yeah, okay. So sitting there, I hear the rifle shots go off all around me further, on the other properties and stuff. And I'm going, yeah, there goes a dead deer. Nothing. I'm sitting here. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. It's like one of the best freaking stands I got, and there's nothing, you know? And I'm thinking back at the yesteryears when I used to shoot a deer every opening day, and, you know, you're kicking yourself. And I got mad. I got really mad. I said to God, I said, you know, I have a purpose. You put me here. You made me have these gifts and these talents to enjoy the outdoors. Why don't you let me have my trophy? You know, why are you saying and doing and put me through all this that I can't have what I shot, and I know I hit it right. I know I hit it right. I know when I shoot a deer, I know where the arrow hit. I was like, why are you messing with me? And I heard a voice, and he said, put me first and all your trophies will follow. And I said, what? And he said, put me first and all your trophies will follow. And I says, I am. I'm going to church. I'm, you know, reading your book. I'm why you're messing with me? You know, this ain't funny anymore, you know? So as the shots had quieted down, I look out from where that orange tree where I last saw my buck stop before he went down into that ravine when I shot him with the bow. And I catch a glimpse of horns coming up the rock wall from that tree. I'm like, oh, a buck. Okay. So I start grunting on the grunt tube, and I see him lift his head up, and he looks, and he starts going out to the log road. And I'm like, okay, he's coming. So I had my 257 Roberts. I took the safety off real easy, and I wrapped the sling, and I had to make an offhand shot, and I knew he was going to come out in front of me. And as he's walking down the log road, he's limping. He's not like a broken leg limp, but he's got something going on. And I'm looking at him closer. I'm going to myself. I'm saying, boy, that looks a lot like that 8 I shot with the bow. But I said, there's no way that deer died. You know, I said, it's not going to happen. So I watch. He walks down the trail a little further, and he just looks like into the woods where I am, and he's breathing, and the steam is just coming out his nostrils. And I'm like, he's just standing there. I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself, well, am I going to shoot him? All right, I'm going to shoot him. So I settled a crosshair. Right, he was kind of like quartered towards me. So I wanted to hit him in the patch of the throat, just a little bit below it. And I touched the rifle off, and he reared up, and he fell over, and he was trying to kick and stumble and try to get up. And I shot him one more time just to put him down. And I'm looking at him. I'm like, I'm putting all the stuff together. I'm like, he was limping. He looks a lot like that 8. Maybe it is. I'm like, I don't know. So I'm telling you, I get down and I walk over, and I had called my neighbor who was with me, a friend of mine, Harry. I said, Harry, get up here. I shot an 8. He's like, yeah, I heard you shoot. All right, man, I'll be right up. So I go over there, and I can see something like on an angle. It looked like a ridge under the hide, and it was into the armpit of a deer laying there on its. When I could see it laying on its side, and there was a hole.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, no freaking way. I'm like, I didn't shoot that deer there with the rifle. And you could see it wasn't gangrene, but it was healing. It was like a hole. It was healing. So I put my hand down on the hide, and my hand was like thump, thump, thump over something in there. I looked up, and I said, well, you weren't kidding. You know, I put you first, and you gave me my trophy. And I was like, this is, you can't make this up. I'm like, I can't believe this freaking happened. This is 2 weeks later. There was a hellfire going on where that deer came from. And that deer, like, he respawned from the last place I saw him, you know? And I said, okay. Yeah, I get it. And as I learned more about Scripture and I read more of the stories in the Bible, God comes to us on a level that we can understand. He comes to each of us on a level that we can understand, okay? Just like he came to Simon Peter on the boat. Simon Peter was one of the best fishermen in the Bible, but he had a dry spell. And Jesus told him, he said, cast your nets to that side of the boat. And he's like, what do you mean? He said, cast your nets to that side of the boat. They'll be so heavy they will break. I'm telling you to do this. And when he did, he said, I'm not fit to tie the sandals on your feet, my Lord. So that's what You say all this stuff, all the things that we take and we learn, and we put it to some kind of science that we've got these guys figured out, we got these deer figured out. Alls I do is I just say, hey, put it up here where you want me to go. I'm good. I'm good. I know I'm good. You made me good. You made me the way I got to go. You made me do all this stuff. You made me have interest in this instead of doing drugs and doing the wrong thing. You put me out here in the woods to guide me this way. And now he's put me in a position where I can reach out to hundreds and thousands of people through what we do here. So anybody that thinks that there's not some higher force who's God that doesn't steer you in the direction that you should go, you're sadly mistaken if you don't understand it. And that is my expert guide, let's say, on how to deer hunt. I listen. It's the same with fishing. I'll just get that feeling, and it's your conscience. Your conscience talks to you. And guys, when you say I never heard anything from God, I've actually heard God on more than 2 occasions speak to me. And people say, well, you're lucky. I never hear that. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I had a frog in my throat. But I tell everybody you're mistaken. God speaks to you every day. And they say, what do you mean? I said,
you gotta listen.
Have a conscience? Yeah, I got a conscience. I said, you know, when you did something and you're thinking about it and something's telling you maybe it wasn't right. Yeah. I said, well, that's God, whether you realize it or not. We're all born with that natural antenna of a conscience, and it's God speaking to you. So my best advice is learn the outdoors, learn how to survive, and put the Almighty first in what you do. And I'm telling you, when I have a dry spell, I will sit there and I get on my phone, I go on my Bible app, and I start reading scripture. And don't you know, every darn time that I do that, deer show up. And God and I got this thing. He puts, when I have a thought and I'm wondering if it should be this or that, I see a deer. So it's just the way that he talks to me. He comes to me. He lets me know, hey, I'm listening. I got this. I got that. But there is no advice. A lot of people have great advice. There's some awesome hunters out there. But God created everything that we enjoy, and I follow what he teaches me.
That is well put, brother.
Right. On that note, how can we even compare? And have a good night.
Yeah. Yeah, that is well put there, Squash. Thank you for that. I definitely know that at least my journey itself, I need to do better at putting the Lord first. I do want to get the opinion from the Deucer from your point of view, because you're fairly new but fairly into hunting, and I want to know your point of view on the question at hand.
Well, like I said, I've been out of it for 10 years. The reason I stopped was it was my grandfather's and my thing of how we bonded. It was a family thing. We always hunted. When he passed away from Parkinson's, I just figured there was nothing left to do. Can't do it. Didn't pretty much believe in myself. And I figured, you know what? I need a setback. I need to figure out what I need to do. Anytime I figured out, when I went back out in that woods for the first time, it felt home. Like Squatch said, sometimes miracles work in their weird ways, and he works his weird ways. And every time I go out there, I feel like my grandfather's with me, and just everything comes back, and that feeling of just getting away from my career, my jobs, all that stuff. It's so nice getting back out into nature, and it's going to take me time to get back in my old roots, but it's like riding a bike. I haven't forgotten it. I thought I would, but I'm starting to remember all of it, and I'm I'm now 100% in it now. And my wife is going to kill me because I'm already $5,000 in the hole with it. But oh well, I'll deal with the consequences later.
Well, you could just tell her it's that, or you could start doing math.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think my boss would like that, but yeah.
Yeah.
Just try to get a divorce and hunt more. That's what I did.
Yeah,
No.
divorce and child support and fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
But
See,
no, I mean, I've had a issue, like when I used to hunt when I was younger. I used to go out. I don't know if you guys ever done it, but any new place I ever gone, I've always grabbed the ground, put it between my hands, rubbed it against my, my gun, pretty much brought myself to that nature. And I always took a piece of that. Anytime I shot something out of it, I took a piece of that dirt with me. It reminded me, and I would put the year on it. And everybody's got their quirks, what they do and how they do. And whatever helps them memorize it, cutting the tail off of a deer, the antlers off of a deer, the skin, whatever it helps them remember. But my thing is I grab the dirt, I sit down there on my one knee, look down, and I pretty much pray to my grandfather, trying to hope and have a good hunt. And then I just sit out there, no phone on me. I just kind of just sit out there and enjoy the nature. And a lot of people don't realize, when you live in the city and life gets busy for you. And when you get out in that woods and you finally put that phone down and you really open up your ears and you listen, you start enjoying nature and you start enjoying things. And then you start noticing things. And it's like, I don't know how to say it, but it's like a big relief. It's a big breath. And it's like, you feel like you're home again. You can start all over.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, because your story resonates a lot to me because I quit hunting years ago when my oldest passed away. So he was my hunting buddy. And then in my mind, I didn't care about hunting no more, He was the one that we would always text and everything. And he was really good friends with Dan's son, Tanner. So I just didn't have even the desire to hunt. I just didn't care. And it was weird because my youngest really wasn't into hunting, didn't really care. He was into football, which was fine. I didn't care if my kids hunted or fished not. He just decided one day hey, I want to try hunting. I'm like, let's go. He got out the first youth hunt, shot himself a big, tall velvet spike. And my oldest, actually, before that, he shot a doe on the youth hunt. And that kind of brought it back for me, where I kind of realized what I was missing. And then it was more of my therapy than anything, because it put me in a dark place for a long time. And and now it's just kind of like it's like part of who I am. My kid, he's into it. My oldest, when he gets back out of the Marines, he's talking about wanting to take it up again. And at that point, at first, I didn't want to hunt for myself. I just was like, I'm not going to deny my kids that opportunity to enjoy what I used to like to love to do when I was, my whole life. But then I still feel there's a part of Caleb every time I go hunting,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I personally, so my grandma died from breast cancer when I was 6 months old, and that's why I always have pink veins on my arrows, is dedicated to her. And I think we all have our, like Deucer said, we all have our quirks and stuff like that. But I think we need to have more of these type of conversations where hunting is more than just going out there and shooting deer and trying to harvest a deer and kill a deer. And yeah, we come on this show to give the best advice possible and all the information that we seem fit. But I think we also need to have these conversations more where hunting is more than just that. That's why we call this electronic campfires, because it's our chance to share these memories and share these moments. Because really, at the end of the day, that's what really hunting is about. That's what hunting was back then, where everyone would get together for deer camp. they would share stories and share those heartfelt moments, and that's what made that special. And we don't have that as much these days. And then honestly,
No.
after tonight's show, I think that we should dedicate more shows to opening up like this, because reality is this, what we just all talked about is hunting at its heart.
It's why
Yeah.
we do it.
Yeah.
Killing a deer is just, you know,
Yeah.
the cherry on top. That's awesome. But
Yeah.
get out there and,
It builds different kinds of friendships too. I will be
oh,
honest.
absolutely.
It's more of a true friendship. It's more like, we talk about it all the time, more like a brotherhood. Like when my kid passed and Dan found out about it, he was the first one that drove all the way down here, him and his wife. They were the first ones out of even my family. They beat everybody down here, you know, and it was just, we grew up hunting together, you know.
Mhm.
And I just think hunting bonds people closer on a different level than just regular friendship, you know.
I mean, you and I, Dave, we can reference the military from that. Like,
Yeah.
the dudes from the Army that I have, they are more family than
Oh yeah.
my siblings or my dad, you know.
Yep.
If one of them called me today and was like, dude, I have a hard time. Cool. How far away are you? I'll be there 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
Or 20 minutes earlier.
Yep.
That's what I would do. And with the hunting community, like, oh, it's right here, you know. Shit, we've never met Squatch in person, but like, and we've ran into each other a couple times. Brett,
Yep.
you've been over to my house, but at the same point, like, if Brett was like, dude, I'm having a hard time, fuck, dude, come on over. Or if I'm like, Dave,
Yeah.
man, I'm fucking struggling. You're like, dude, come on up. Like,
Yep.
let's hang out. Let's do this. And yeah, we can see each other in person, and then go all off season without seeing each other in person, and then pick right back up where we left off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the hunting community.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like a married couple.
I don't know.
Basically.
Yeah.
With
Basically.
an ugly stepchild named Brett.
That's
Oh.
with a fucked up eye.
we say brotherhood. Welcome to the brotherhood here. And yes, we do a lot of hazing on this show. Do not get me wrong. We love that part. But at the end of the day, like John just said perfectly, there's more to it than just hazing with brotherhood. It's, you have that person's back, and no matter what,
Mhm.
you're going to be there for them. Like, I know, John, you've been there with situations where you've had a buddy that was in a down moment and he's dropped everything and you go help him. I know my brothers and sisters in blue, I've been in the same situation. I've had to drop things and like, hey, I need to talk for like 20 minutes. I'll just sit there and let them vent,
Mhm.
or I'll go meet them in person. That's a part of the brotherhood. That's the point. That's the
Yeah.
brotherhood here that we're trying to create with Whitetail Advantage. We want everyone that's listening to the show, that watches the live shows, to feel like this is actually, you're feeling welcome, a part of the brotherhood, to reach out to us in any situations. We're an all open book. You can reach us on all platforms. I'll even give you my fucking number. Some of you guys actually do have my number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually got
So-
Brett's posted at the 76th Street truck stop in the bathroom. So
No wonder why I get
Mine's
those
on
random-
131 and 94.
yeah. But it is just like marriage if you think about the vows. I mean, it's for the good and the bad. You
Yeah.
know, you're there for them when it's good, and you're there for them when it's bad.
Mm.
You
Right.
know?
And with the hunting community, as well as like, you know, the military or law enforcement, I'm sure, like, I will talk shit about every single one of you guys right to your face.
Yep, I do it too.
But
Same
it's
here.
like I'll talk to Brett. I'm like, man, you know, Dave's a pretty good dude, man. Like, that's, you know, he's not. Don't fucking tell him I said that. He's
Yeah.
a pretty good dude, you know.
Yeah.
Like, we'll talk
I-
shit to each other's face and we'll say something nice behind your back.
Yeah, I
Right.
won't say shit. Don't worry, I won't tell anybody.
Exactly, right?
You know?
I just wanted him to know that I think that he's a piece of asshole, but hey,
Yeah,
he's a really good guy. He's a really
He's a
good.
dick.
Oh, fuck you, buddy.
fucking
Dave's
dick
a
butter.
pretty good guy, but during the show, let's just fucking bash on him.
Michael says this, and we'll start wrapping it up. I don't feel welcome.
Well, it's because they're not 18 yet.
Yeah,
You gotta grow hair on your balls before you can.
You got to be able to drink a beer. Not even drink a beer, just shotgun a beer.
Yeah. Well, with that being said, guys, let's do the outro all together. let's do this first. Squatch,
Everyone's
how can
off
people
the
reach
radar.
out to you?
People can reach out to me, as always, on Instagram under Outdoors and More with the Squatch, or my YouTube channel. You guys can always find me here at 8:30 on Sundays and Tuesdays on the Whitetail Advantage. You can catch me also on the Garden State Outdoorsman podcast with Mike Mitrzyk and Frank Mystica. And, like I said, we're here to work together and help each other out. So if you got questions, you want to know more about religion, hey, I talk about everything. So hit me up.
Dave, how about you, brother?
Same thing, man. Just reach me on the Whitetail Advantage podcast every Sunday and Tuesday, more like Tuesdays until next month, hopefully. And then it'll be Sundays too. But you can reach me on Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube under PSE Mobile Hunter.
Johnny, how about you, brother?
You can find me on Whitetail Advantage. I'm here as much as I can. Most Sundays, some Tuesdays, Yeah. And then I'm on Instagram, Nitro Outdoors, Johnny Nitro Night. I'm on there. Hit me up. Any questions, let me know. I mean, shit, I'm an idiot and I quote movies all day. So if you want to quote movies, man, find me.
Yeah.
Squatch doesn't know a lot about movies. We should just do like in the hunting season where we just dedicate talking about movies.
Dude,
I
was talking about tonight.
We do a movie night trivia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, him and I are actually been working on that. Him and I are working on that. I love that idea that Johnny gave.
Tonight, during the day, like Squatch started quoting Airplane. Have you ever seen Airplane?
I haven't, no.
Airplane 2. Oh, watch Airplane 1. Airplane 2 is dumb. Airplane 1 is good. And you gotta watch Police Academy too, man.
Squatch and I would go all day quoting Airplane or Blazing Saddles. That's the other one.
The original.
Was it? I was 22. So I was youngest the one in my department when I got hired in. And my buddies asked me, "You ever seen the movie Top Gun?" I'm like, "What the movie? What the movie are you talking about? What are you talking about?" Like, you've never seen Top Gun? And then I finally saw it. What's that movie about?
Yeah. Do you know what it's about?
Yeah.
What? It's not about fighter pilots.
Tom Cruise.
Well, Tom Cruise. I've seen the movie.
It's about being gay. Okay. So
you have the Air Force.
Yes, it's about being gay. And Tom Cruise struggling between heterosexual and homosexual.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was a seaman, so I mean,
Now, if you look at it, listen, okay. You have Tom Cruise he wants to fit in with the fighter pilots who are always shirtless, bouncing around doing really gay shit, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the doctor who is like feminine, and Tom Cruise is like, "Oh, I kind of like you." And then there's that scene in the movie where Tom Cruise goes over to her house, and they're sitting there. They're laying on the or they're laying outside, and you're thinking, "Oh man, he's going to make a move." But what does he do? He gets up and leaves. Right? He drives away on his motorcycle. The next scene, the doctor, you see her walking into the elevator with Tom Cruise, and she's dressed like a dude. So she's like, okay, if Tom Cruise doesn't like me as a woman, maybe he'll like me as a guy, right? So that's when Tom Cruise starts really paying attention to her, if you think about it. And then, have you ever, the very last scene in Top Gun, right? They're flying.
Are we talking about the Top Gun? Top Gun?
The Top Gun.
I'm trying to remember of gay scenes in Top Gun.
I feel like you're grasping at straws with this.
Somebody's been watching Pornhub too much.
Dude,
that's why I was like,
I watched too many movies, man.
Yeah, Top Cock. Is it called Top Cock?
What is the last conversation in Top Gun between Iceman and Maverick?
I remember, but I don't remember the
eject.
No. It's you can ride at my tail anytime you want.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
that's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then Tom Cruise turns around and says, "I would love to ride your tail."
Yeah.
And that's how it ends.
And then now think about it. Val Kilmer's dead and Tom Cruise is still alive.
I know.
Yeah,
what a waste.
Yeah, he's a
Like, that's a
Scientologist,
stretch.
like a weirdo. But yeah, if you watch that movie now, you're gonna see it completely different.
I
You know-
have to rewatch this movie now and look at it in that lens
But
perspective.
you know what it is? This is what happens in real reality here, guys. All right. John watches so much porn, it starts mixing in with real movies, and
It
in
probably
his
is, man.
drunken stupor,
Yeah.
they seem to make sense as they come together, and then he makes some kind of,
Weird
reference
connections. Yeah.
to this, and he's like, yeah, and he just sees it in his own light as Top Gun and some kind of porn.
Well, you know
with
they
Freddie
make
Mercury in it.
parodies.
Yeah,
They make parody porn.
Oh,
movies.
yeah.
that's what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Like, but he remembers watching the real movie first.
Yeah.
You
Well-
can't tell me the volleyball scene in Top Gun isn't gay.
I don't even remember.
Yeah,
I
that
saw it.
that is pretty.
that
is
kind of
pretty
was
gay.
pretty gay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
I
now
can
that
see
you
your
notice
point.
that,
I
you
can
notice the
see your
last
point.
part. Okay.
I just have to watch it now in that perspective.
Exactly. And then you're gonna be like, "Holy shit!" You're gonna blow up my phone and be like,
Like
Dude,
I know
you're
that
right.
I know exactly those scenes you're referring to as well. So I remember I'm replaying it in my own head, but now I have to watch it
"Yep."
actually through that perspective now.
I'm not wasting my
And-
time to watch that movie
I
again.
am
I
not
have
I
to.
just I just have a question. Why was John so focused on all them scenes? Dude, were you like that bored overseas? Like you had the lotion out, you had
Yeah.
all the cloths
Yeah.
ready to go. I mean, I
Yeah.
know you guys saw a bunch of donkey fucks out there.
Oh man, don't even get me started on that shit. We would take bets on who's gonna fuck what donkey. When you see a group of like 4 dudes walking into a field at like midnight, you're like, oh man, one of these poor donkeys is gonna get railed. And then
We
you
had
just take bets on which one would do it.
We had a great show, getting heartfelt, and then just went,
Right.
just went it
Brett,
just
go ahead.
it went Top Gun gay.
Yeah.
Fucking nosedive
Yeah.
into the ground, dude.
So, yeah. Stay tuned
We
next week.
definitely
For
did not eject
Yeah.
out of that one.
the fucking-
Stay tuned next week for when we talk about Willy Wonka. And,
Yeah.
Really
Or
walking
Free
with
Willy.
9/11.
Yeah, the Fudge Factory.
Actually, this is when Johnny gets Willy Wonka and Willy Wanker confused.
Yeah,
as the same movie.
Then I'm gonna compare it to the Oklahoma City bombing or some shit.
Yeah.
Johnny's recollection is if you see 4 Oompa Loompas going into a field, you know one of them's going to get it. So.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, everyone, that's going to conclude another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast.
Thanks,
I want to say
Bob.
thank you to everyone for gathering around the electronic campfire with us today.
I don't know
Now,
if it's
this-
electronic.
I'm
If
sorry,
this show
everyone.
made you laugh, made you think, gave you new perspective, please hit that like and subscribe button. If you're listening to this on the audio version, please give us a 5-star rating and also give us your feedback on how you think the show went. If you think you can do anything better and improve upon, please let us know. We like
I think we're going
constructive
to get
criticism.
comments next week about every single movie that came out that had fucking gay scenes.
Probably.
And if we turned you gay,
Yeah.
send a comment to John.
Yeah.
I'll make
You
fun
can-
of you personally.
Thank them later.
The audio versions of our podcast gets released every Monday and Wednesday at 5 a.m. Eastern time. However, again, I will point out we do not have a live show on Easter, so our next audio version of our episode will not be released till next Wednesday. Now, if you ever want to be a guest on our show or you want anyone from our team to be a guest on your next show, head to our website, whitetailadvantage.com, and you can book one of your live shows with us, or you can submit your request for one of us to be on your episode. Now, with that being said, thank you to all the companies that teamed up with us here at Whitetail Advantage. And with that being said, we're recording the slot machine, and we'll see everyone next week, Tuesday.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.